Welcome back to another episode of Theorycraft. In this video, we're going to be discussing the build called the Frost Hammer. The Frost Hammer essentially focuses on using the Ice Gauntlet and the Warhammer in order to make massive amounts of AoE, CC, just sort of lock down enemies really hard. Also, when you create an ice storm, you're able to, shockwave inside of that, keep people inside of it, and just do an extended amount of damage. You're not really mainly going to be doing pure DPS, however you can totally spec this to be that way. This is mainly going to be this tanky sort of CC oriented build. So let's get into it. First, we're going to be talking about the Ice Gauntlet. So for the Ice Gauntlet, you're going to be picking up on the Ice Tempest side Ice Spikes. So for the Ice Spikes, you're going to be picking up all of the passives, mainly just so that you have a bit of ranged poke. I find with this build you don't really have too much range, it's more about being up close, so I just wanted something that you can kind of spam a lot at range and still be able to do a lot of damage. Also, being able to apply that pushback is extremely important. Next, we're going to be picking up Ice Storm. Ice Storm is going to basically create this big AoE area, which you can then swap to the hammer, do shockwave, do some sort of CC, keep them in that Ice Storm, and sort of just rack up that damage. We're going to be picking up all the passives, as I find nothing here is wasted. For the passives on the Ice Tempest side, we are mainly just picking up some stuff that's going to help us get a bit of extra damage, along with a little bit of extra mana. Nothing too important, however, make sure you do pick up Heavy Freeze, as this is a very, very powerful passive. You're also going to be picking up Ultimate Chill. This is going to increase your ice damage by 35% for 3 seconds whenever an ice ability chills a target. Next, on the builder side, we're essentially just pushing these passives in order to get Entombed. Entombed is going to just allow you to be even more tanky. Since this build is essentially the frontline CC tank for the team, this is why we're picking up this. If people do start aggroing you, you can just pop this. They'll just end up hitting nothing, just that ice thing. You break out, get the extra defenses for 3 seconds, and you cleanse all your debuffs. This is going to be fantastic for just being able to front line tank, remove all the debuffs, and just sort of continuously tank with ease. We're also going to be getting Frozen Touch, as since we are in the melee field there, it's going to be really good to slow all the people that end up melee attacking you. I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer for this build. Next, we're going to be talking about the Warhammer. So you're basically picking up everything in the Crowd Crusher side. You're not going to be picking up the Stimulated Reduction on the Path of Destiny. The main reason for that isn't necessarily a build that's going to be for PvE. This is more for PvP. However, you can totally swap in and get that Stimulated Reduction if you wanted to be more war, those big massive war oriented ones, or if you want to do PvE. And other than that, we're picking up every single passive here, as every single one is going to help you with your light attacks. You're going to be throwing in as many light attacks as you can between your abilities. It's just going to allow you to add that extra little DPS here and there. And then we're going to be getting Aftershock, as Aftershock is going to give you a slow whenever you hit someone with a crowd control effect. And since everything here is going to be crowd controlling, you're just going to be getting that constant slow on the target. You're basically just going to, once you're on a target, you're going to make sure that they can never move again. For the Juggernaut side, I'm picking up the Epitome of Bonk, just so that you can get that extra armor pen. I find it's a little bit better than the passive that I ignored on the Crowd Crusher side, and then the Exhaustive Attacks, so that you can get all Warhammer abilities apply Exhaust, slowing target stamina regeneration by 15% for 5 seconds. This is going to be good for those people that continuously block against you. For attributes, we're going to be pushing all the way for Constitution. The main reason for this is that you want that plus 30% duration of stun, slow, and root spells. You're going to be doing tons of stun and slows, so increasing that duration is going to be fantastic. This is like bread and butter of what you need on this kit, is just tons of CC along with increasing that duration. We're going to be dumping up to the 3rd point into Intelligence in order to get the increased elemental damage, and then the rest goes into Strength. We're going to be putting an Ice Gem slot into the hammer. This way you can still do a lot of damage with the hammer, but the Ice Gauntlet isn't going to suffer if you invest everything into Strength. And then we're also pumping that little bit into Strength just to increase the light attacks, which is going to help you out a lot when you swap to the hammer, since you're going to be throwing in tons of light attacks between all of your abilities. For the armor, we're obviously going to go with heavy. The increased crowd control debuffs that we apply last 20% longer. This is going to stack amazingly with the constitution, all the passives we have, and all the abilities that we're using. We are going to be an absolute monster when it comes to CC, and we can tank extremely well. All you need to do is just get up into the front line, start CCing, and just lock down enemies forever. Alright, thanks for watching that one. I hope you liked the build. If you guys have any changes that you would make, if you wanted to try and play it a bit of a different way, you can totally end up going with like ice spikes and all the like damaging abilities that you get in the ice gauntlet, and then go with like a light armor, full intelligence, the rest into strength, or maybe even like the rest into constitution, and then go with the juggernaut tree instead of the crowd crusher tree, essentially ignoring a lot of the crowd control effects you can get from those two weapons and just purely focusing on damage. You can totally do that as well. It'd be interesting to see if anybody can make that work. However, I just found the combination of like heavy constitution with all the extra crowd control effects with these two weapons is insane. Since you're pumping all of your points into the constitution, you don't necessarily need as much of the damage since you're mainly just focusing on the CC. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to comment them, and please subscribe for more theory crafts. Have a good one.